Come on in. You know the drill. The records are now open. Welcome everyone to another episode of Akashic Answers with Emily. I am Emily and fumbling my cool toys that I play with in here when you come on up in. Welcome again. I'm Emily, founder director of the Akashic Academy, and here to give you all an experience, not only in understanding what the Akashic records are and how they can be the most helpful tool for you as you are walking the path of evolution and growth in your life, but also give you an opportunity to experience activation. So here's how this show works. First, I'm going to give you a little rundown on what the Akashic records are. For those of you who are new, I'm going to ask you to say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. I did mention activation. Activation means there is a cellular shift in our body, in our awareness. DNA is turning on, which is going to give you more access to your superpowers. But in order for you to get that activation, you've got to participate. And the cool thing is, while we feel like we are humans and we are having this human experience, we are actually consciousness coming to know itself. And we are all connected in this energy of one. And so when you type in where you're tuning in from, I want you to begin to imagine these pinpoints of one, these pinpoints of light all over the globe, connecting, creating a grid work of consciousness, because this will, I try to explain it to y'all how it goes, but truthfully, it's my explanation is scratching the surface only of what's happening when we're all participating in this together, whether you're watching now or on the replay. But it creates a connection of consciousness, of intelligence that we get to share. Aha moments, illumination, new perspective. We get to strengthen that grid work so that when we're sending love and compassion through this grid, it really begins to permeate our planet. The name of this grid, by the way, this collective structure that we're all sharing, is called a dodecahedron. It's a piece of sacred geometry, y'all, that has all kinds of magical functions. So we are going to dive in now. I want you to ask questions. It's the third part of what I wanted to share with you all, not only what the records are, the fact that you get activations, but then I'm actually going to channel in insight for you. So areas where you feel stuck, where you feel challenged, where you feel like you have tried and there are not solutions presenting themselves, I want to encourage you to type your questions in the comment. Even if I don't get to your question today, I want you to know that just by asking, you are inviting forward that intelligence from your higher self, from your innate, from your Akashic records. Whether you've trained as long in reading the records as I have or not, you are going to experience an unfolding, or you will see what has previously been unseen. I will not promise you that will happen on this show, although it might, and I like it when it does. Emily's ego likes being very good at what she does. And the truth is, 90% of what happens here in this time we get to spend together happens after the episode is over. So it's your job to notice your thoughts, notice how you feel different. This energy works on the subtle planes. It's not obvious until it is obvious, and then it becomes magical. Okay, so go ahead and get your questions typed in. Let's talk. Oh, one more ask of you all. Share this out, please. If you're new here and you're like, yeah, I don't know if I want to share this out yet, fair enough. Wait till the end of the broadcast and see if it serves you along the way. But those of you who are part of this community, you're regulars here in this space, please share this out, because as you know, the more of us that come together and do this work and shift our perspective and see things differently, the faster humanity will evolve and grow, which means the faster you get to evolve and grow as well. The faster you get to shift the blocks in your finances, the faster you get to shift your narcissistic relationships. That seems to be like a catchphrase. We're all experiencing narcissistic relationships. Guess what that means? It means you need to look at where you're being the narcissist. sorry. You definitely have to take responsibility for what you're creating once you're in this space. But the cool thing is that the more of us that are doing this work together, the easier it gets. So please share this broadcast out and let's get going. What are the Akashic Records? The Akashic Records are the realm of consciousness where all information, past, present, all possible futures, has been recorded from a neutral perspective. Neutral does not mean comme ci, comme ça. I'll say ma French, les French Robert, that's you. And you know my French is pretty marginal. My fellow French speaker here in the house. It's not comme ci, comme ça. That is not what neutral perspective means. Neutral perspective means from the state of unconditional love and zero judgment. Okay? Oh, you guys got good questions coming up in here. I can't wait to get to these. Christopher, what a great question. How can the Akashic Records help in the integration of ego? Oh yeah. I'm definitely going to answer that one. Okay. All right. So the records hold all information forward and backward through time from a neutral perspective. They work by what's known as invitation only, which is why I'm having you all ask questions. It doesn't mean that only certain humans can tap into the records. Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Any human who has done the work can tap into the records. Okay. What do I mean by doing the work? I mean, first of all, you must learn to raise your consciousness, raise your vibrational frequency so that you are a frequency match to unconditional love and zero judgment. I go through a process of visualization, meditation, and some sound breath work that shifts my vibrational frequency. I can teach you how to do it if you want. All humans can do it. So it's about learning how to shift your vibrational frequency. It's about learning how do the records talk to you, or how am I reading the records? It's not as magical as it seems. It's all about imagination. I don't talk about this often, but I'll share with you all here today. Before my timeline shifted into sharing and teaching about the Akashic Records, I was a Hollywood actress for 20 years. And so it was absolute spiritual boot camp. And in Hollywood, through cultivating the craft of acting, I learned to rely on my imagination and my instincts. Okay, so let's talk like improv acting. And I was just sharing this symbol, this metaphor with a client earlier today. I said, okay, so if we put this in terms of improv acting, it's like if I hand something to you, you can't pretend like I'm not handing you something. You got to take it and be like, oh, thank you for the apple. And that's how the Akashic Records talk to us, through our imagination. And we have to be very perceptive and notice what thoughts are running through your mind. What images, what visuals are you getting? What color are you getting? Don't try to tell me you're not getting anything. Most people, they play both sides of the fence. I'm like, you got to meditate. I can't meditate. My mind just won't shut off. Oh, your mind won't shut off. But when I ask you what you're getting or what's coming into my, I don't know, nothing's coming into my mind. Yeah, BS. These are the areas where we block ourselves from being able to tap in. Okay, so that's how the Akashic Records talk to you, is through your imagination. Let's see. Oh, yes, let's talk about invitation only. Invitation only means we must invite forward the intelligence that we're looking for. And one of the reasons that the Akashic Records are the number one Googled resource in quantum technology, in the quantum woo field, is because now that we're all used to using the internet on a day-to-day basis in our life, we have a construct to understand what the Akashic Records are. So just like you use the internet, you type in questions to Google, you type in a search, then you get that information back. It's not like you just turn on the internet and exactly what you're looking for comes to you. No, you have to type in your search, your query. Use a search engine, you ask questions. Make sense? Rock and roll. All right. One more thing I want to tell you all about before we dive in is something I am just so excited about because it's changing my life as well as the lives of people who are involved. We recently released a membership community. It's a ridiculously low investment. And for those of you who are looking to train your intuition so that you can learn to rely on this as much as you rely on your logic, which you want to do because your intuition will fill in the gap that your logical mind is missing. You need this to be very successful. Yet most people don't trust their intuition when they're first starting. And furthermore, even if you've gotten to the place where you trust your intuition, it's worked enough times that you know you can tap into it. What happens when you begin to tap in on a regular basis and rely on the intuition to help direct and guide you in your life? So inside the ether, if you scroll up to the top of the comments, or if you're on Instagram and you go to the link tree, you will, Juniper says, thank you for creating the space. It's awesome. Yeah, for those of you who want to train your intuition, there are daily check-ins that you get. This is just one aspect of this community, but I love the daily check-ins. So through SMS text messaging, you'll get a message every day that's so easy to pause and to lean into whatever we're telling you. It takes less than 2 minutes. And it will help you unplug from the stress and the old patterns of how you show up to life that are keeping your vibration low, that are keeping you not tapping into your intuition, and help you learn to hold the frequency of miracle consciousness. All right, I'm done preaching. I'm going to dive in to questions. Christopher Fall says, how can the Akashic records can be used to help in the integration of the ego? I work with the ego quite a bit in the Akashic records. There's actually a, well, I hate to use the word spell, but I'm going to go ahead and use it. There's a spell that we speak. It's a mantra. It is a prayer, we could call it, that we speak going into the records. And one of the statements is, with this Om, I release my ego. And then we sound an Om. Om is the primordial vibrational frequency, which returns us to a state of pristine mind, pristine connection. And so when I'm working with the idea of ego, the first thing to do for my clients and students is define what ego is in this community. Ego is any part of you that defines yourself as separate from source, separate from God. And we incarnate into this life, into this experience, into earth, to experience ourselves as separate from God. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. And because we've chosen to incarnate as separate from God, it's like we're shrinking our bandwidth here. When we tap back into universal mind and we want this access to unlimited perspective, I mean, we've incarnated to experience perspective. But to be as smart as we are, we need to jump back into infinite perspective, right? So we need to release the part of us that has defined ourselves as separate from God to get back into the records, to get back into God mind. Let's look at ego when it comes to defining ourselves as separate from each other, because we're all individual reflections of the God personality. But since we've incarnated in these separate bodies, we perceive separation from each other, which isn't actually the truth, but it's how we perceive it. And it allows us to learn. Earth is a school where we come to learn through contrast. So what we notice is that we perceive ourselves as separate, which begins to create competition amongst each other. But when we release the ego and we stop seeing ourselves as separate from the other people that are here experiencing ourselves on the planet, we truly move into a state of unconditional love for ourselves and others, which, by the way, this is what gives us really pristine access to the records. It's not just about learning the prayers and the chants and how we shift our consciousness to tap in. Once you learn to tap in, which, by the way, I'm telling every single person here, you have been in the records before, whether you recognize it as that or not, because we all have the ability to tap into this space. We stumble in, like if you have an aha moment, Some people enter during dream time. We enter involuntarily. What I'm here to teach the planet is we can voluntarily go in. But once we do release the ego, we release this view of how we're separate from each other, then we want to work on our self-love, because how much you love yourself is a direct correlation to how much access into the records you're going to get, how much knowledge you can get. Because when you're talking about all the information in the universe, this is powerful. And we can manipulate other people in a not so good way if we don't truly love ourselves and love everyone connected to us. But when we truly love ourselves, we can ensure that we will use this information for our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. Cool. All right. So Christopher, that's how the Akashic Records helps to integrate, is to provide understanding of what the ego really is, give us a way to release it when we need to release it, and then give us an opportunity to experience the beauty of it. Because as we incarnate as separate from God, we have this technology and this mechanism to experience God, to experience consciousness, to experience the beauty of a physical planet, like sound, like that beautiful sound. Oh, I just realized I didn't plug my mic in. Speaking of beautiful sound, sorry, Yeti. I knew I was missing something up in here. Think of a beautiful meal. Think of time spent with somebody that you love. I just got a great massage the other day. You don't get to experience all that sensuality when you are in a state of oneness. Everything is connected and you are God. You don't have the experience. So the contrast, or the ego, allows us to experience. Cool. Makes sense? All right, so let's do an activation right now. Christopher, thank you so much for that. Let's do an activation that allows us to work with our egos very in the highest, very dynamically. Because obviously, if we see ourselves as separate from source and we begin to compete and fight with each other or fight within ourselves, maybe you beat yourself up. That is not the ego working for you in its highest octave. The ego working for you in its highest octave is understanding what a powerful tool it is, and then also understanding when you need to keep your separation over here and tap back into oneness. And then we get to jump back and forth, right? Down here, so we have the experience. Up here, so we can figure out what we're doing, where I'm going. Turn left. Right? Okay, so let's see. Where does all right, the guides want to work activating the third eye. I'm going to use, I've got another sound toy tool here. This is calibrated to the frequency of Ohm. 136.1. Can you guys see that? Oh, I'm holding it there. Can you guys see it there? 136.1 Ohm. Again, Ohm is the primordial frequency of creation, whether you believe God spoke the universe into existence or you believe in the Big Bang. It all comes through sacred sound. So I'm going to work by proxy on any of you. If you want to receive this by proxy, that means I'm using my body to connect with you in oneness and to activate this energy. Type yes in the comments. I can only do that with your permission. So give me a yes. And I'm holding the Ohm on the third eye here. For those of you who do not have your tuning forks, if you have a tuning fork, go ahead and use your tuning fork. If you don't have a tuning fork, lick the finger and touch the third eye, because you'll notice instantly you feel the coolness of the air on the third eye. That's going to bring your awareness to the third eye. Close your eyes. All of the attention converging on the third eye, all the consciousness in the third eye. When we put all of our consciousness or all of our attention into one point, we increase the blood flow into that point of the body. We increase the innate intelligence of that part of the body. So we're working with the third eye, which is not only your psychic sense or your inner vision, allows you to see the bigger picture. This is also where your intuitive gifts or communications. So we talked about how the Akashic Records talks to you through your imagination, or how it communicates. If we broke that down further, I would tell you all, you have claircognizance. Oh, it leaves the thing on my head. Hang on 1 second. Now I'm going to have a big red mark on my head. You have your claircognizance, which is your clear knowing. That's when information just comes in a download, and all of a sudden you know something you didn't know before. You have clairvoyance, which is clear inner vision. That can be you seeing auras. It can be seeing a picture or a movie playing out in your head. It can be color in your head. It can also be how you see in your peripheral vision, lights and shadows. You have clairaudience, which is your clear inner hearing. And sometimes the clear inner hearing happens like this. You'll get a song lyric in your head, and maybe the song lyric speaks to you in a way that allows you to feel comfort and love and connection and feeling again. Or maybe you get a song lyric in your head and you go turn your car on, or you tell Alexa to play you some music, and then that song's on. So you are perceiving intelligence in the field at a higher rate. Claircognizance, voyance, clairsentience, which is clear inner feeling in the body. That can look like you walking into a room and feeling other people's feelings, or it can look like sensation or temperature moving through your body. Okay? Awesome. So now that we've activated the third eye, notice all of your psychic senses will begin to up level, but so will your ability to see the bigger picture. Okay, send some love, likes, hearts across the screen if that's helpful to you. The guides are also saying, get clear right now about what you want to see the bigger picture for in your life. Okay? These are all my beautiful peeps talking about the ether. Whew, so good. It's all good all up in there. Okay. Let's go and grab another question again. Send some loves, like, hearts across the screen if this is making some sense to you. Cool. Juniper says, my guides and higher self love to send me songs. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Danielle, third eye activations have been coming up a lot for me. How cool that we can do one here in this space where we're all together and all focusing on it at the same time. Hi, Lisa Beck. I love you. Member of my team there. Okay. Tom says, I don't have a cell phone. Detour didn't have the signs posted. Tom's funny like me. Likes to bring the funny up in here. All right, Catherine Grant. How can I accept where I am currently in my life? Ooh, good question. The guides came into my awareness about accepting where we were. And I remember exactly where I was standing in my room. I was over there and I was opening the blinds, the shades. And I can't remember for the life of me what they said right now. So I'm going to tap in and get a fresh perspective. All right, Catherine. Oh, I also do want to say quickly that, yes, I'm tapping into Catherine and speaking to us all through her records and through her guides. And if this resonates with you, I want you to receive this intelligence that comes through as if it's your guides talking to you. I mean, we're all one anyway, right? So if this resonates with you, it's for you. It's the messages for you. Okay, so Catherine, how can I accept where I am in my current situation? Okay, the first thing is that you've got to feel the feelings that are associated with it. So there's a common phrase known as spiritual bypassing. If you've heard of spiritual bypassing, type yes in the comments for me. If you might have spiritual bypassed some things in your life before, I've done that. I'm really good at it, by the way. Spiritual bypassing can look like delayed processing, meaning shit blow up in your world and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to shut that over here later. Deal with it later. I'm gonna stay on point on my mission and just keep working. Workaholics. Whoo, hello. You know why we workahol? Did I make that word up? I did. Where are my Ethereans? You guys know I made up like 2 or 3 words in the ether this week. Why do we workahol? I just turned workaholic into a verb. You're welcome. We workahol because we're numbing out. Workahol is, if you are a workaholic, it's the same energy as being an alcoholic, as being a drug addict, as having a vice that causes you to check out. A Netflixaholic. Okay? If you check out rather than feeling your feelings in the moment, whatever the situation is, that karmic cycle is going to keep coming back up for you. And if it's showing up now in your finances and you're ignoring it, it's going to show up again in your finances, but it's also going to start showing up in your relationships. And if you ignore it in both of those two places, it's also going to show up in your job. And if you ignore it in all of those places, it will eventually show up in your health, where you can't ignore it anymore. Woo, clairsentience all through my body. Got the chills. Notice if you get the chills. If we do not face and feel in the moment and we stuff emotion, you will not get past anything that you are dealing with in your life. It will keep cycling around and around and around and around and around. And so many of us don't want to accept it because we feel like, oh, if I accept my current situation, then that means I have to surrender to feeling like crap all the time because I'm always broke, or surrender to feeling like crap all the time because I attract narcissists in my life who don't treat me right, or I fill in the blank for yourself, XYZ. How we currently accept where we are, Catherine, this is a great exploration. I'm so grateful to you for asking this, is we face and feel in the moment. I got lit up for this on sharing on Facebook at one point in time. And I was just repeating a statistic that I heard. But it felt right to me. I'm like, oh, wow, it really made me look at something in a different way, which, by the way, when you come into this space, don't require yourself to agree or disagree with what I say. It's not the point. It's just about thinking about things differently. Try to let your resistance down enough that you could see something differently, and then you can just determine how you feel about it as you walk away from the space. But just notice if your inclination to agree or disagree comes up. But this is what I shared. Emotional pain lasts 90 seconds. Anything else is self-induced suffering. Think about it. Requires us to take a massive amount of personal responsibility for our pain. A lot of us, it will show you where you want to defend your pain and defend your victim mentality. But let me tell you something about what you defend. Get ready. Take a breath. What you defend, you get to keep. Somebody type that in the comments for me. What you defend, you get to keep. So the key to accepting where we currently are, first face and feel so that you can flush the emotion through the body. You can, and an emotion is another way of saying charge. You have a charge, you have a trigger. Face and feel it, be present with it. Don't be afraid of it. Being afraid of it and shoving it down is not acceptance. That's spiritual bypassing. Let it be present. Be brave enough to feel it. And then once you allow it to move through your field, ask yourself about, what am I learning in this process? Who am I becoming in this process? Find the gift within the wound. Please, somebody type that in the comments. Find the gift within the wound. And that will move you into a place of acceptance, a place of non-resistance. And acceptance doesn't mean that it's okay with you, by the way. Acceptance means that you've moved into a state of non-resistance, and that's the state you can be in to shift it and change it. Send some love like hearts across the screen if this is making sense. Whew, Catherine, good stuff. Okay, here's where the guides want to work today. To give us an activation here in terms of feeling our feelings. All right, womb, and my men out there, just think of your lower belly, your sexual organs, please. Your sexual organs, your sexuality, this is where you create life force energy, not only in terms of creating new life, but it's about your creativity. And it's also where you store unprocessed emotion. This is so incredibly valuable, by the way, to deal with your emotions, to deal with your emotional body, because your emotions are what set you apart from so many other species in the galaxy and allows you to create in this beautiful, masterful way. It allows you to be a hell of a manifester. First, we think it, and then we begin to feel it. And that feeling behind the thoughts is what will make you an amazing manifester. But if you numb out your feelings, you don't have access to this anymore. You don't have access to that incredible creative power. You came to this planet to feel, to sensually interact with the physicality of this planet. You got to be able to feel, or you lose your life force energy. So hands down here on the womb, the sexual organs, the sacral chakra, this is orange in color. It's also about the size of an orange. Closing your eyes right now, converging the focus onto this area of the body. And I want you just to imagine bringing this chakra into balance. So your chakras are in, for those, a lot of you are going to know this. If you already know this, practice listening with beginner's mind, because that is an aspect of mastery. And hold space for our brothers and sisters who get to learn something new. Your chakras are invisible spinning wheels of energy in the body. Visible only with your clairvoyance, your inner vision. Okay? And these energy centers can become overactive or underactive. Overactivity looks like being over-sexualized, amongst other things. It looks like trying to power up people. Underactive looks like not feeling your feelings, not even acknowledging your feelings and being able to share them with other people. Okay, I want you to imagine bringing the center back into balance. We're going to do that with shape, color, and light. So imagine orange light emanating from 360 degrees, and adjust the size of your sacral chakra. It should be about the size of an orange. So notice if yours is big, and you're just going to notice by what you first see in your imagination, or what hunch you get. Maybe yours is the size of a grapefruit. Maybe yours is the size of a basketball. You just dominating everybody in your life, and you think you're an alpha. Yeah, have fun with that one. Maybe yours is the size of a golf ball. My third eye is palpitating. Let's move this into harmony and balance. So make the proper adjustments. Again, remembering what we learned when we just worked in the third eye, that when you converge your awareness into one point of the body, you are increasing blood flow, increasing circulation, so bringing health and healing to that part of the body. If you have manifested dis-ease or any kind of physical symptoms in your reproductive organs, doing this work will help bring natural healing into this part of your body. And again, converging our focus in one point of the body activates, wakes up the innate body intelligence that is part of your human structure. Every cell of your body has innate intelligence. Good job. And again, this is for accepting where we are right now in life. It just doesn't mean you're okay with it. It means you've moved it into a state of non-resistance, which is where you get to change it. You get to alchemize it. And it's all about feeling the feeling. So what I want you guys to be aware of is we've just done a massive healing in the sacral part of the body, which is going to release emotion that you've stored. So if you get really sad, emotional, angry, please do not take this. Help them now if they get angry. Don't take it out on your lovers, on your children, on your boss, on your pets, on yourself. Remember, guys, help them to remember this is just what you've stuffed, and it's a release. It's because of the work that we've done here today, and I just want you to breathe through it. Great ways to release anger: punch a heavy bag, go work out, go to the top of the mountain and like chuck rocks off and say fuck, 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 fuck as you're throwing the rocks off. Okay? Do something that moves it through your body, that honors it and moves it through your body. Just don't take it out on other people around you. That does not count as moving it through your body. Because what you're doing is you're just passing it on to another you, another version of you. We talked about how we're all the same, right? You're just giving it to another version of you. Okay? Type yes in the comments if that landed for you, if you got some great value out of that. Woo! I love being all up in here with you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Robert, I see you. Thank you. Hard to process, but important to the chapter on grief. Oh, your book is going to change. It's already changing lives. All I can do is grin. Ibrahim! It's good to see you too. I'm glad you're here. Deb Duran in the house. You know, I love me some Deb Duran. The rest is getting stuck in the reason without finding a solution. Yes. By the way, your logical mind is not what you should be using to find your solution. Use your intuitive mind. Your intuition is your ability to know something instantly and allow yourself to know the solution instantly. Don't arrive at the solution based on all the outward circumstances. Okay? That's similar to how we give away so much of our freedom because we allow the outer circumstances to dictate how we are going to feel. Not all up in here, you're not. I have a new practice that I do every single morning, which is I ask myself, hey, how do you want to feel today, Miss Emily? And then Miss Emily answers, and I'm like, great, let's set that in the cellular frequency rather than waiting until you go out into the world and you have some kind of an interaction, a stressful interaction that triggers you. No, don't let that set your vibrational frequency. You decide right now. Yes. All right. I love this time with you all. I'm going to tap in the comments one more time here. The link where you can join us inside the ether. Not only do you get those daily reminders that we talked about, which are going to help you wake up within the dream. Row, row, row your boat, people. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Sing it with me. This is the dream. Can you wake up within the dream and not allow the stress and the programming of your past, your ancestors, the collective stuff that we believe that isn't even true about ourselves? Can you wake up within the dream and see the truth and choose? Because when you wake up within the dream and you choose, you are gaining your freedom back. We have this modern day technology that can ping, remind you, oh yeah, unplug, wake up. Again, doing wonders for me in terms of raising my personal vibrational frequency and allowing me to hold miracle consciousness. Because hang on. Christopher asked us about ego. I love being able to teach and share from my higher self that taps into the records, and from my ego, my human, that F's it up regularly so I can give you context on what it looks like. Okay? I still fall asleep at the wheel, not really driving my car. Don't write in, do not call the authorities. I don't mean literally. I'm speaking symbolically here. And I start functioning on autopilot, and the next thing I know, my teenager can really trigger me. Well, I actually have 3 of them, but there's one in particular that triggers me a lot. I got 2 boys and a girl. Which one do you think it is? It's the one that's just like me. Okay? And my human starts responding out of pain and frustration and trauma and XYZ. And my higher self doesn't come in until after we've had the encounter and she's gotten pissed and she's stormed off. And I'm like, oh, where was my higher self then? My higher self was like, I was right here, but you didn't ask for my support or my help. Oh, yeah. So learning to train ourselves to find that spaciousness between our thoughts and reacting to our thoughts, it's something that I'm still working on. If I were so darn good at it that I couldn't tell you what it looked like, it would not be nearly as helpful to you for me to preach about what it looks like to be stagnant. We've got to talk about what it looks like when we're on the battlefield. And thank you all for allowing me to share with you, even though there's still a part of me that's very much human and doesn't have. There's the human part of me that doesn't have all the answers, just like there's the human part of you that doesn't have all the answers. And then there's the higher self, your innate, your connection to source, which has all the answers you need. And when we embrace the imperfection and fallibility of and perfection of this technology that allows us to jump back and forth and have those experiences of, oh, wow. It makes the experience here on the planet so rich, so rewarding, so fulfilling. And when you truly feel that about your experience, whether everything is butterflies and rainbows or not, you are going to raise your vibrational frequency and open yourself to abundance, prosperity, love, connection. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, make me a little emotional here. Beautiful to share that level of existence and experience here with you all. I love you. Namaste. I'll see you back here again next week, but I hope to see you sooner in the ether. All right.